All right, man, getting to the end. I'll just give us a little rundown of the ideas this week, and it is kind of an off week, not truly off for us in this class, but off enough where you're not getting anything new, and we just get to finish up and go from there. So it is May the 4th, even though you might be reading this before then. So take a look at those. Gotta love Star Wars. We will have office hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on the time, Thursday, Friday if we need them. Guess we won't. But office hours this week will just be strictly for asking questions, prepping for the test, going over study guide, that type of stuff. There's nothing new. So just make sure that you're on top of that. You're coming in, you're getting things done. Last couple of weeks, the office hours have been down a little bit. I'm guessing this week, as you prep for your test, they'll probably be up a little bit more because you have, that to get ready for. So make sure you take a look at this. This week, just quickly as a rundown, I'll go through each one of these a little bit. But week 6, this is just a quick discussion. I kind of give you an overview on it. I'll click to it right here. You can read through it, kind of the idea of what our test is about. I'm going to give you a 2-hour time frame, of which you're going to have an hour to take and finish the test. But what I want to know is, preferably Thursday, but we could do it Friday too, depending on what you want, and then sometime between 10 and 3. Okay? So I want you to do this as soon as possible. So hopefully Monday, at minimum Tuesday, I'll make a decision. And I'll let you know. So that's all that this is. 5 free points just from coming in and writing on that study guide. It says Wednesday. I might just pop them up earlier than that. I don't know. I guess my idea is all we're going to do is those are some similar questions, little tidbits of information, right? That you have. You have examples of those all over the place, videos of those all over the place to go back and look at. And so if you can do all those without any help whatsoever, you're good to go on the test for the most part. Still a good idea to read through the ChemQuest and just make sure you have the vocabulary down, not just the math, because that's some of what has got us lately, is just not understanding what words I'm using, what I'm actually looking for. So understanding some of those words, theoretical, actual, limit, excess, moles versus molecules, all that stuff going right back to the beginning. All right, so take a look at those. Study guide looks like this. It's all just problems, even though your entire test won't be problems. I'll talk about that in a second, but all these problems, again, you should be able to lay these out, showing dimensional analysis. Now, this is not going to be a true study guide where normally I give you 10 to 15 points to finish it. We talk about it. I just want to be able to use the beginning of this week to talk you through it live when you get stuck. Okay? Like I said, I'll probably just have the answers populate so you can at least check with none of the work there as you're doing it. But these are the kinds, the styles of questions that you should be able to do going through this chapter, right? So we've had multiple versions of all these. At minimum, you should be able to handle these with little to no problem as far as I see. So please take a look. Ask questions when you have them, ranging from the very beginning all the way down to limiting at the end. I have these ones all broken up, but they don't necessarily have to be. Like, I could just ask you a question like this and say, hey, how much is left over? And you still got to be able to do everything in between. So especially with the limiting ones, make sure you're able to do that. If you can do the limiting ones, you're good on any stoichiometry. As long as you can balance chemical equations, stuff like that, and you're going to have to do that at least once. We have a hydrate problem, a percent yield. Again, both these are percent empirical formula, right? These are both basically the same problem, just different way to look at it. So make sure to try those, take a look, try to do it without any help, then come ask for help, that type of thing. Going from there. I did put up another digital quiz, and I want to show you this quick. mainly because the directions for this digital quiz right here are the exact same directions that are going to be on your test. Okay, except for, I guess, this part is try it as many times as you want. That's for this. Take it early. Ask questions on this. Same thing during office hours. I can run through, how to show your work on this, what I'm looking for. But the basic things are right here. If you see a no work needed question on your test, you don't need to show work, right? That's just going to be give me an answer, and those will be way less points than the ones where you have to show me the work. But those are the ones that you can just do, on paper at home and just make sure you get them in right. Okay. I'll just be checking for correct answers. So you got to make sure there's going to be no partial credit on those. So it'll be all 3 or 4 or 5 points depending on the question, or none. All right. So make sure you can think your way through those questions. These are the main ones that I want to take a look at. So the ones that say show all your work, I think I have 3 of them, plus an extra credit question. All right. So the big thing, and I've been harping on this. All right, you must, anytime you show a number, if all I see is a number, you're losing points. If I only see a number and I lose it in a unit, you're losing points. What I need to see is I need to see all of these. Anytime you want to show a number, I want to see it, right? And like I said, it's going to be 3 problems, so you got to demand that you can do it. And again, that's going to take practice. Now, those of you that have been practicing doing it that way, it's not going to be any different than what you've been doing. But if you haven't been doing that, right, that's what I have this quiz here for, like practice putting it in. But there are a couple things. So mainly it's the dimensional analysis that I'm looking for. But some things that you have been showing me that I don't need to see on this test because I don't want to bog you down is you have to show a balanced chemical equation if I don't give you one, and you need it, but you do not need to show the work to get to that balanced chemical equation. Okay. I would, obviously still do it on paper as you're writing it up. I pre-took this test and I did all on paper, then I typed it in. Some of you might just type it in right away. Depends what you want to do. Doesn't matter too much. The other thing, you don't need to show me work for finding molar masses. I'm assuming you know how to add. That being said, you still need to have the right molar masses, right? So make sure you take your time and you have your periodic table available right away when you're taking your test. So you're not searching for that. Right, and going from there, because like I said, you're going to get 60 minutes, which sounds like a lot because typically we only get 45, and it is, but again, I'm requiring you to show your work in this area, right, using the insert math equation, and there's multiple ways you can do it, some that I think are probably a little bit faster, and if you want we can talk about that, and some that are a little bit slower, depending on how you show your work. If you're doing it on your paper first and then translating on there, it can work. But again, what I need to see by showing your work is the dimensional analysis when you need it, right? And then anytime you write a number, you're writing both the unit and the label or the substance. So I have a how many molecules question. I have a find the hydrate. I have a empirical. I have this single replacement reaction where you're trying to find the limit, and then a percent yield, right? So, I mean, there are questions 4 and 5. We've had so many of these. You can take a look at them, but they come up. So, hot and heavy on the past, like 3 weeks, and then one kind of from that week from before. Okay, so that's that. Basically, what I just said on that practice quiz is going to come up. So this will change for the test. Thursday, maybe Friday, kind of depending on what you guys want as a class. Like I said, you're going to get 60 minutes, no more, no less. It will be an open notes test just because that's the way I built it. So that's where the time, you're not going to have time to try to look up everything, right? So make sure that you're prepped. If you want to jot down some notes, that's a study form, especially for these. So make sure you're ready to answer some of those questions based on that. But you also have to be prepped to type in everything for those 3 questions, right? So make sure you can do that and come to office hours sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so we can talk about those things in small groups and prep for that. And then the following week we'll start a 2-week unit on gases. That should be a little change of pace, a little bit fun. and then we'll get ready for a final. We're almost done. Keep up the good work, and I will see you in a little while.